There's no person I've ever known of that was as lonely a human being as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Deep within maximum security prison, an infamous criminal met a fate just as gruesome as the heinous acts he committed. This is the tale of who stabbed Jeffrey Dahmer in prison. In true American crime, few names evoke as much horror and revulsion as Jeffrey Dahmer. Known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster, Dahmer was a serial killer and sex offender who took the lives of 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. His monstrous acts, which included rape, murder, dismemberment, and cannibalism, shocked the world, making his name synonymous with evil. In 1992, Dahmer was sentenced to 16 life terms in prison, effectively ensuring he would die behind bars. While Jeffrey Dahmer ultimately met a violent end at the hands of another inmate, there was an earlier attempt on his life, which was overshadowed by his eventual demise. The man's name is Osvaldo Durruti. Durruti was not a household name like Dahmer. He didn't make headlines for a string of grisly crimes. Instead, his name emerged from the shadows of prison culture, a violent blip in the life of an infamous serial killer. It was July 1994, less than 5 months before Dahmer's fatal beating. The prison was buzzing with an undercurrent of violence. Despite his notorious reputation, Dahmer had managed to maintain a low profile within the prison system. But Durruti had other plans. Osvaldo Durruti, a Cuban-born man serving time for first-degree homicide, had decided to make a name for himself. His target? The infamous Jeffrey Dahmer. But who exactly is this man? Durruti's life before prison remains largely a mystery. His past is a patchwork of hearsay and fragments of fact. But what we do know paints a picture of a troubled individual.
Did you want to kill him? What did you want to do? Beat him up?
I wanted to kill him.
You wanted to kill him?
Yes.
According to reports, Durruti was a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes. He was known for his quick temper and reputation for being a tough guy, someone who wouldn't back down from a fight. Like Dahmer, Durruti was no stranger to the cold, hard bars of a prison cell. He was serving time for first-degree homicide when he made headlines for his audacious attack. But unlike Dahmer, Durruti's name hadn't sent shockwaves through the media until that fateful day in the prison chapel. Durruti attacked Dahmer in the prison chapel of all places, a supposed sanctuary within the grim prison walls. He was armed with a makeshift knife, crudely fashioned out of a toothbrush and a razor blade. As the congregation bowed their heads in prayer, Durruti lunged at Dahmer, stabbing him in the neck. It was a swift, calculated move, one designed to kill. But to Osvaldo's frustration, Dahmer survived. The guards rushed in, pulling Durruti off Dahmer and rushing the Milwaukee Monster to the infirmary. Dahmer was lucky. The blade had missed his carotid artery by mere millimeters. He would live to see another day, or rather, another few months. But the question remains, why did Durruti do it? Was he simply a product of his harsh environment, shaped by the brutal realities of life behind bars? Or was something more profound and darker lurking within him that drove him to target Dahmer? Despite his violent act, some have suggested that Durruti may have had a sense of twisted justice in his actions. Dahmer, after all, was one of the most reviled men in America, a monster in human skin. Could Durruti have been acting out of a sense of revenge for Dahmer's victims? Or perhaps it was a power play, a bold move to establish dominance within the prison hierarchy. In the predatory world of prison culture, taking down a high-profile inmate like Dahmer could certainly elevate one's standing. We may never know the true answer, as Durruti remained tight-lipped about his motivations. He was transferred to a higher security prison following the attack and lived out his days far from the media spotlight. His act of violence against Dahmer remained his most defining moment. His actions, however, sent a chilling message echoing through the prison walls. No one, not even the most notorious of killers, was safe behind these walls.